we would like to welcome you back to our series on United in Diversity. This is a series where we are learning many things related to different cultures, given that we live in an institution that is highly culturally diverse. At this moment, we're going to look at something that is unique in most cultures, if not in all cultures. And that is non-verbal communication. The title for our talk today is Non-verbal communication is like Greek. You see, Greek has been known to be one of the toughest courses to take here at our university. And so, if there's something that is hard in the communication, is non-verbal communication. One thing that I have found here in the Philippines, for example, is that a lot of communication happens on the face. By the way, research has proven that 70% of what we communicate is non-verbal. So words actually take care of just 30%. Some have pushed further to say words actually express 15%, that the rest of it is non-verbal. Here in the Philippines, I have seen people pointing with the lips, for example. And that, at first, I found it very, very funny, because usually you'll use your lips if the hands are full. But I have found that it's perfectly fine. We say, where is my friend? He's over there. It's perfectly fine in the Philippines to say that instead of pointing with the hand. And then there was another one that I have seen around the Philippines, that is moving the eyebrows, going like that. It can be interpreted as a greeting in most cases, but I have learned that it means something else. And so when I see that, I'm confused what it actually means. Because somebody doing that with me that I have never met, I don't know if they're greeting me or they are challenging me. One day I was talking to one of our students from India. He has already graduated. And what happened to him, he was getting on a jeepney, traveling down to Silang, and he happened to be in the jeepney alone with the driver. And you know, as it is here in the Philippines, the driver collects the fees while he's driving. And so the driver wanted to send a message to this student from India. And he just looked at the rear view mirror and just did like that to tell him it's time now to pay. But this student from India, in his specific place in India, if you do that, it means I challenge you. I can actually knock you down right now. And so this student was like boiling down. It's like, okay, this driver is challenging me that he can take me down. But actually the driver was only asking for the fee. And so that's why I'm saying that nonverbal communication is like Greek, because we can never guess it right. I have invited 4 people here who are going to tell us a little bit about how to deal with nonverbal communication. Here I have Miguel, who is joining us from Mexico, and then I have Wenwan, who's coming from China. By the way, in Mexico we say Buenos tardes, right? Yes, all right. In China we say Cao Shangha. All right, I don't know how you say it in the afternoon, but I know it's Cao Shangha. And the next person actually is Ukrainian, but most of you believe he is Russian. And so today he's going to represent Ukraine and tell us a little bit about that. And the next person, the Ukrainian friend, is Yaroslav. And then the last participant here is Watson, who is from Zimbabwe. Welcome to this show of United in Diversity. I have the very first question for you. What 3 nonverbal gestures are unique to your culture. That if we had to go to your culture, we must be aware of this. Anyone? Yes, one.
Okay. In our culture, you reminds me when we point it, sometimes we point with our hand, but we also point with our chin, like that. That way, this way, like this.
The chin.
Yeah, chin.
Okay, in the Philippines, it's the lips. And when you travel to China, the lips can't make it anymore. The chin does the work. All right. Okay.
And the second one is when in a meeting or discussion, when you disagree with some idea, but you don't want to say it verbally. Maybe you will you cover your nose, or sometimes you will clear your throat like that. You will feel you're not comfortable. So the speaker will notice, maybe someone doesn't agree with me.
Okay, now that those two that you have given us, they have totally different meanings. When somebody, in other cultures, when somebody puts their hands on the nose, what does it mean? Smells bad. I think all of you, and I see some people doing like this, doing like this and doing like that. In many cultures, it means the same thing. But obviously in China, it means, okay, something is fishy. I don't agree with you. The next one was the clearing of the throat. And these things you find in the literature. Actually, people have published a lot on these things. You'll find that clearing the throat, in some cultures, it means you are announcing your coming, that you are in the neighborhood. So if there's somebody who is not in the right position they should be in, they need to be aware that in a few seconds you'll be entering the house. So you don't want to just jump in without clearing that, because in some cultures they don't knock at the doors, or there's no door to knock at. And so what you do is to clear the throat so that the people know that you are coming. This will happen when you go to the mountains, for example, to do missionary work in the mountains, and the toilets are outside. Usually they will not have a door at that. And so what you will do, instead of asking anybody home, because you don't really want to ask that about a toilet, you're going to clear the throat. But in China, when we hear that, we need to know that somebody might be disagreeing with what we say. You have another one you wanted to add?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, all right. Let's go to somebody else. Thank you so much, Wen.
Okay, so about Ukraine, actually we have, I think, differences, many differences with other countries, but in our case I decided to talk about starting from time when we meet a person and when up to the time when we say bye-bye. So how we do that? Firstly, if we want to show our respect to a person, we should not be late. So it's just unacceptable to be late. If you're late 5 minutes, it's still okay, but beyond 5 minutes, it's not okay. I mean, person just leaves the place. If, for example, you arrange a meeting and 5 minutes is over, you just go. You don't wait for 5 more minutes.
What does it mean to the person who came late? If I came late, we had a meeting, and I came late, and you have already left. What does that say about me in the Ukrainian culture?
Yeah, in Ukraine, the person, for the person who was waiting, it's okay just to leave. And for the person who came and there is no friend anymore because he left, it's also okay because he just accepts, okay, I'm just late, that's why. Yeah, so I understand why. So there is no problem between them. Yeah, and
nobody will get upset or anything. Okay, good.
And when you go, for example, to someone's house, you usually knock the door. You cannot go in. It's just not respectful, and it's like you are a robber when you get in. Even if you are friends, if you are a friend of someone, so even the friends, you just knock or you just call.
And you have to wait outside.
And you have to wait outside until another person opens, and after you say hi, like it's not good just to come in and that's it.
This is very important because in this audience, we have people who come from cultures where the first thing, as soon as somebody knocks, they have to enter and have a seat and have water and have tea or coffee. But obviously, and this, what you're talking about, represents many Western countries where whether you're known or not, you wait at the door until the person will open the door for you.
You wait at the door, and also even if there is a conversation that doesn't take time, you just stop at the door right there. So you don't invite the person. If the conversation is over, the person can go. But if there is something serious, or just the person came to your house, you just greet him, and after you invite him. And after the tea and the rest is there, of course, yeah. And also one more thing here, when we greet, we usually shake hands. So we have to shake hands. But we don't shake hands with women, and we don't have shake hands with gloves also. So if you are wearing gloves, it's not good to shake hands. So you have to take off the glove and shake hands. And also, if this is a woman, you kiss the hand of the woman. So this culture.
How is it like that?
Yeah, it's like you take it and kiss.
Okay.
So this is how, like here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
A woman just gives you a hand
like that.
Yeah, like that, and you just kiss. And this is greeting for a woman, a man and a woman.
Okay.
So a man cannot shake hands on the woman.
Okay.
It's offensive.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And the man waits also until the woman gives her hand to the man.
Does this happen with people who know each other, or anyone? Whenever you greet anyone, it will happen.
Usually it happens with people who doesn't know each other. Like if you have a meeting, like it's official meeting, you do that. But if you know, just hi, that's it.
I was telling you, nonverbal communication is like Greek. Because in some other cultures, if you had to kiss somebody else's wife's hand, that could definitely get in a misunderstanding.
It could be not okay. I mean, people usually don't do if they know each other, but if we have official settings, you have to do that, because if you don't do that, it's offensive. So you don't greet a woman. Yeah, you have to take her hand and kiss.
All right, I think we have gotten that correctly, but I don't know if we have Ukrainians here. If we do, we'll try to remember to greet them properly. Let's go to Mexico, a great nation right there, somewhere between North and Central America, right there. Yes. Great nation, known for so much delicious food. They're in Cancun.
Thank you.
Sir, tell us, Senor, tell us 3 things that are unique about non-verbal communication in Mexico.
Well, non-verbal communication, it's very important. In Mexico, we are people of passion. You will know when the person is happy and when the person is not happy, when the person is agree with you and when someone is not agree with you, is not in agreement with you. So, for instance, just the greeting, it's very specific. I will invite my wife to come and do.
Please.
Because it's easier when we see what is the real situation. This is something between men and women, regardless of if this is the first time that we see each other, someone is just introducing. For instance, oh, Miguel, this is Ruth. Oh, hi, Ruth. Like that. Nice to meet you. And that's the first thing. So you kiss men and women, even if it's the first time. Of course, if you have known each other for more time, you just immediately, if there are you are coming and there are 10 ladies there, you just hello. Next. And you kiss every one of them. Of course, most of the ladies use lipsticks, so at the end you have a lot of lipsticks that's quite common. Another non-verbal communication, because as I'm telling you, we're people of verbal, very passionate. We express our emotions always. So men and wife will walk in the street like this. This means that we are okay. We are perfectly okay. We can walk as well like this, or like this, in rounding the the waist or hanging like this. Even if we are sitting in the church, we are like this, putting the hand. And this is just an expression of I care about you, I love you, and something like that. But when we get here, I start noticing that some people get uncomfortable when I was touching her or holding her head on something. So now, when we don't do like this, at the beginning it was, is everything okay or is not everything okay? Because now we are not holding hands or something like that.
And that's what we're talking about as cultural sensitivity.
Yes.
We have learned to adjust.
Especially when we go outside ayas.
Exactly.
In ayas, we understand this. And even, we will not do this here, but when we are at home, and I've just arrived home, we kiss each other with lips, a short kiss, 1 second kiss, just to say, hello, I'm back, or goodbye, just like that, and it's totally perfect in front of children and everything, because this is something like saying, I'm your husband, you're my wife, and like that. So this is a non-verbal expression of this. And finally, thank you, my love.
Before you go to the next one, let me explain this to everyone, all of us in the audience, that some of these things, as we can see from the two that he has explained here, may not have anything sexual to it.
Not at all.
And yet, when we see it from our lenses, from other cultures, we say, oh, these are just, they should not be doing things like this in front of our children. Yes. But they don't mean any offense to anyone from their culture. It is actually normal, perfectly normal, just as normal as I shake hands with other people, just as normal as those who bow down to other people, just as normal as those who kneel down to greet other people. And so we need to be a little bit more understanding. But on the other side, if we think that what we are doing is offending people, that's what they did. When they go out, they try not to use all their full culture because they know that they may become a stumbling block to somebody else. And that is part of cultural sensitivity. The third one.
Yes, in these two final things. I have my nephew right in the middle who just played saxophone. If we see each other from far, we are in the other side of the world. Here people bow, right? But in our place, when I see my friend there, I say, and he responds like that. And after he responds like that, I just say, which means, let me say what it means. How are you? And his answer is, I'm okay. So that's great. That's the response to it. Yeah, suave. That's okay, or something like that. That's something. And finally, we never shake hands with the left hand. Left hand to shake is totally unrespectful. So at the beginning, when I came here, someone was carrying books, and I extended my right hand, and this person answered with the left. That was at the beginning quite weird for me. And later on, I understand. So, and as well, when I extend my hand to shake, either men or women, and the person does not respond extending their hand, is a sign of totally rejecting the friendship. Now I know that not in every country, not in every culture, it is allowed for men to shake women's hand. So now I extend my hand when the women extend her hand first. I don't take the initiative now with ladies because of the different cultures that we are.
Thank you so much. Before we go to Zimbabwe, I just wanted to draw our attention to the left hand, because we had heard that in Ghana it is wrong to use the left hand, to point something with the left hand. We have heard in Mexico that shaking hands with the left hand is wrong. In India and several Middle Eastern countries, it is wrong to eat with the left hand. I think that we will be safe if we try to avoid using the left hand to communicate, because there seems to be a number of cultures that have a problem with the left hand. On the other side, I have met a number of African students who use the middle finger to point at something. I want to tell our African students that it is just no. While you are here in the Philippines or you go to Western countries, just if you can find a way to tie your hands so that when you point, all the fingers show, that would be better, because we do not point things or at people with the middle finger. It is a wrong gesture. It's wrong, and you can see people are laughing. They may have been laughing before when you did that and you did not know. It means it's wrong. You just don't use that. It's wrong. Let's go now to the great nation of Zimbabwe. That is in southern Africa.
Okay, thank you so much, and good afternoon, everybody. Coming to Zimbabwe, starting with the greetings. First, we also don't use the left hand for greeting, but we shake hands when we greet. And it's done in slightly nuanced way when it's men shaking hands or when it's women shaking hands, particularly if they are women shaking hands with men. Usually it would be members of the family. They would extend a left hand, okay, like I extend, the right hand, and then the left hand accompanies the right hand. The left hand is there to accompany the other hand. And as they do that, upon contact, they usually go like this. Yeah, it's like they have a spring in their knees.
Let me try it.
You have to. Okay. So then I would have to sit down.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Oh, I'm the woman.
Oh, okay.
So as I come, like this. Okay. This is a sign of reverence, and so it might be a number of men that are seated. They will do that with all of these, and then they will find a spot not too far, somewhere close by, where they will kind of like just kneel down, and then looking at the ground, they will then express they will then do the last part of the greeting, because shaking hands is 50% of the greeting, and then the other installment comes in the clapping of hands, which is different for men and for women. It's different. For women, they will do it like this. Makadi Renyuana Baba. Okay. How are you to these men? So, like this. But for men, we do it like this. So this, and we are saying each other's totems, Mofu, Moyo, and these are praise poems that we have inbuilt in our system. You don't just greet, how are you so, Mr. So? No, you go by the totem. And
I think I want to go to Zimbabwe now, don't you? Especially if you're a man. Because if you're a lady, you will definitely struggle with all the clapping, all different kind of clapping. All right. Question before you go to the next explanation, gesture. How do men show respect to ladies?
Showing respect to ladies.
Because you have explained how the ladies show respect to men. I mean, through the greeting.
Yes.
How are they expected also to show respect to ladies?
Maybe not necessarily in the context of greeting like this. In this limited context, it would be by way of acknowledging the greeting. I guess so. But generally by providing within the family and taking care and being protective. So that would be a much larger context now. But in a limited context of just a greeting, I guess it would simply be by way of, it can actually be quite hierarchical. It can actually be, there's quite a lot more that, but then there's a way in which men, because when the greetings are done, it's not just greeting people, you have to know which one to direct your greetings to, who is the least among them, and then they will direct it up to the most senior, and then eventually they pass it on. If there are other ladies sitting there, they then give it to the ladies. We are about to greet each other now officially and everything like that. The women will acknowledge, and then the greeting will start from the list to. So it can be a process.
It's a whole ceremony. Yeah, actually, just to greet.
Just to greet can take quite some minutes.
It's more fun in the Philippines because we just do this and it's all right.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier. Okay, you had something else you wanted to share with us? Another gesture? Verbal communication?
Also talking about the Zimbabwean culture, talking about the greeting and so on. There's also something different, which you may not... this is when someone comes to Professor Wambaleka's house, and I knock at the door. I don't enter. I wait for Professor to open. Now, in the Zimbabwean culture, the person has to be let into the house. And then we sit down, we talk about the rain and the typhoon that is said to be coming. We can chat for 15 minutes. And you dare not ask me why I'm there. I know why I'm here. So you don't say, how can I help you? It's already like, you don't tolerate my presence. I know why I'm there. So I'll tell you when I feel it's now conducive for me to let you know. So it's rude.
I think we need a really clapping for this one. This is a big one. This is a big one. This is a big one. And let me add to that one for my friends who come from the West. In Eastern cultures, many Eastern cultures, this is what we call small talk. It's part of the greeting. When you meet somebody, or somebody comes to your house, hi, how are you? How's everything? They will ask you, how is your auntie? How's your uncle? Hey, by the way, you're doing your PhD, how is it going? I heard your daughter is going to get married. Is everything ready? And, as Westerners, we're looking at this and say, oh, when is he going to start? Just tell me why you're here. How can I help you? No. When we are dealing with many, this is not unique to Zimbabwe. It is common to Eastern cultures that we call collectivist societies, where community, the spirit of community is very strong. That means what you have belongs to me too. The sense that when I meet you, it will be rude to just, hi, can I borrow your car? No, that will be like wrong, rude. We need to take some time to kind of mingle with the person, and then later on, finally, go to the point. Same thing for us who come from the Eastern cultures. When we're dealing with the people from the Western cultures, we may want to shorten that small talk, because it will really drive crazy somebody from the West when you are trying to come and borrow a laptop and you spend the first 10 minutes asking about the chickens and the dogs while this person is trying to submit the materials by the deadline, which is 30 minutes from now. And so we need to have some kind of balance with that. I think you had something else you wanted to share, the third one?
Last one, short. This is generally, people in Zimbabwe are very kind to non-Zimbabweans. In fact, they'll do whatever they can, go out of their way to make sure that you are comfortable. And so they will do quite a lot for you, more than they would do for their fellow countrymen, actually, to accommodate and make sure you're comfortable. And so when they do something good, they expect that you may express your gratitude, like just saying thank you. But when you say thank you to, when someone says thank you to me, they say thank you. I'm not supposed to say you're welcome. I'm supposed to refuse and say no. Don't say that. Don't say. And say no. Please. So actually, the way we thank each other, it actually turns like it's like an argument. It's actually like a debate. Thank you for no, don't make no, for sure, thank you. No, please don't. No, but thank you for no. And this is how we thank each other. If someone says thank you to you, don't say you're welcome. You say no. You have to refuse. This is how we accept your gratitude.
So you accept the gratitude by refusing
it.
A lot of research has been done on this, and we're going to talk about this in other series, in United in Diversity. When different cultures, people accept the acceptance differently. In Zimbabwe, they reject it. In other cultures, they minimize it. And they say, oh, it was not really a big deal. There is another strategy that other cultures use. They divert the attention And they will say, oh, you know, the other one that they bought was much better than the one I gave you. So this is nothing. The other one was better. If others will do, they will reject the appreciation to you. For example, if you say, oh, wow, this is a very nice dress. Instead of him saying, thank you, they are going to say, you have a very good eye. Or they will say, actually, I bought it. It was just cheap. Or it's actually already 5 years old. To try to devalue that. And from the culture we come from, we need to understand that when the person says that, they have actually welcomed your thanks. They are not trying to reject it. This is how they are appreciating your thanks to them. But of course, if we do not have cultural sensitivity, we think that, oh, I was really nice. I was telling him how nicely he was dressed, and he just said, I was very cheap. I was offended. No, actually, that's how they were happy that you appreciated what they were wearing by saying, it's been 10 years already that since I bought. Actually, I bought only $5. So there are different ways that different cultures express, react to the praise. Yes, please.
In our place, in our church, people say, if someone thanks you, just say like, you're so beautiful. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I am. And they tell you don't reject, because if you reject your it's like offensive to your God. Yeah, because God created you people. Just say thank you, I am. Yeah, because of my Lord.
Well, if you say thank you, I am, it may be interpreted as you're being proud. And so, but if you say thank you, just stop there. From Western cultures, that is the proper way to do it. But we say, thank you, I think I am. That is a whole different story right there. Okay, let's go. I told you that nonverbal communication is like what? Greek. Because Greek is the hardest language to learn. I have another question for you. Let's come to IAS now. We have gone to Mexico, to China, to Ukraine, to Zimbabwe. Let's come to the Philippines, specifically here at IAS. What is one nonverbal communication that you have seen that almost got you into a fight or actually got you into trouble? Because somebody did it or you did it and the other person was offended or you were offended by what the person did.
Well, it's nonverbal communication and what kind of things. In my country, particularly in my country, eye contact is really important. And you say the things that you really have in your mind. So if someone is talking to you and the person is looking down, this is not a sign of respect. This is a sign of you are hiding something. So when I'm talking to you, you look into my eyes, regardless of the age. I mean, I can be talking to Dr. Green, or I can be talking to Yaro's son. And when we are talking, we need to see each other's eyes and to speak respectfully, but with 100% honesty. I can say, I like this or I don't like this, and because of this and this and that. So when you say, did you experience something that caused you a trouble? Yes. Because especially I do remember in one classroom, in one of the courses that I took, among the classmates, there were a lot of talking that professor was changing a lot of things of the course outline, changing date, changing assignments and things like that. And they were very uncomfortable. And once the professor said, is there any problem with the course? And nobody was saying anything. And I raised my hand and I said yes. With the right hand. I don't remember, but I said yes. We have a lot of situations because you are changing things that in the course outline are expressed in this way and are not supposed to be in this way. And I expressed my opinion as we do in our country in an open way, in a straight way, not raising the voice, but going into the facts of the situation and the disagreement. When the short meeting was over, it was interesting because among the 20 plus students who were in the classroom, 19 of them walked out from the left door and I was the only one walking on the right door. And this was, and finally one of my friends came to me and said, Miguel, we are in Asia. We don't do things like this. You respect the age, you respect the professor, and though you don't agree with him, you don't express and speak out your opinion. So at the beginning, this was for me a really a difficult situation to see that I'm not totally... it's not totally okay to express what I think. I need to be careful when, how, and why, and all these kind of things in order to say.
Thank you so much, Miguel. I want to pick on a few things before we go to N1. Speaking straight is something, again, between the Western cultures and Eastern cultures. Western cultures, you say what you mean. Eastern cultures, you have to be mature enough to guess what I'm thinking about. So here at IAS, given that we are in a multicultural setting, and we have shown that nonverbal communication is like Greek, let's try to communicate straight with people. Unless we are dealing with somebody who is from our own culture, who will easily understand, please, let's verbalize the message that we are sending out. Because somebody may actually get hurt for something that was not meant to be hurtful. Simply because we failed to communicate clearly, openly, verbally. Because non-verbal communication is like Greek. Something else, the idea of looking in the eyes of the person you're talking with. Research has proven that a number of Asian countries, that is a sign of disrespect. When somebody is talking to somebody who is higher in rank, they have to look down. You'll find that Chinese do that. You'll find that Koreans have the tendency to do that. Japanese, big time, they do that. And so for us who come from the West, we need to know that this is not a sign of disrespect. This is a way for them to show that I respect you, therefore I'm not going to look you in the eye. And the same thing for faculty who come from the Eastern cultures. When somebody from the West, we have a lot of students from the West, when they look you in the eye and they ask you, why did you change this assignment? It does not mean that they are challenging your authority. They are simply trying to find the explanation. Because in most of Western cultures, if something is wrong, you talk about it face to face. You don't try to look for an intermediary or run things on a guessing game. You talk to things face to face. You look the person in the eye and you discuss things. Let's go to the next person. Something in your experience here at IAS that almost got you in trouble or actually got you in trouble.
I feel a little embarrassed because in our country, when we greet, we shake hands in a formal occasion. But we just shake hands for a short while, maybe 4 seconds, or very short, then we release our hands. But here, I noticed in some country, and then they will shake hands, and they're very kindly and friendly. They will shake hands for a long, long time.
Yeah, they keep asking you questions, and they continue holding your hands. It's like, let go of my hand already.
They were talking and from one topic to another topic, but their hands are still there. So I felt so uncomfortable. So my mind is not in the topic anymore. And my mind is, how can I deliver my hands? But at the beginning, I don't know it's about culture. I just think that is personal things. Also, until recently, another Chinese friend told me, I see the people in that area, they shake hands for a long time. Yes, I also feel like that. I have been here for 3 years. Just recently, I discovered that is the culture.
Okay, listen. On that one, thank you so much, Wenwan. First of all, we talked about the previous session. We talked about the different types of greetings in different cultures, the kissing, the hugging, even the nose greeting, the handshake, and so on. For us, for those who come from cultures where you shake hands, please keep it to a reasonable length. I would say 5 seconds should be about right. Beyond 5 seconds, you might actually, if it's somebody who's not from your culture, we may start making somebody uncomfortable. Something else you'll find in nonverbal communication. I have experienced this with somebody here on campus. I want to mention the country, where when I talk to him, he keeps coming close to me, and I keep moving back, and within like 20 minutes, we have already traveled like 10 meters. In the Western cultures, we need some, I would say about 2 meters, so 3 feet, when we are talking to each other. Unless you're husband and wife and you're really, really talking about secrets. But in other situations, we need some room. And so if you feel you're talking to somebody, and it happens you're not aware of it. If you find somebody starting to move back, it means you are taking too much of their space. You need to stop. Because that person will get to a level where they are comfortable and they will not move anymore. If you find that you're pushing, the person keeps moving, that means you are invading their space. Thank you so much. Let's go to Yaroslav.
For me, that was not like a big deal, like disaster, but still it's not convenient for my culture. Like, for example, to finish my first conversation, when we say bye-bye, we say like this. But here in the Philippines, it means come here. So I think it would be a problem here because many people, I noticed also they did it to me also like this. And I said, well, okay, bye-bye.
So we need to be careful. We need to learn, especially when you live in another country where you are the minority. You need to watch. We need to observe how people are doing things. Because you may have this, you may have that. And for some people, this means come. Other people, it means I dare you, I'm going to punch you. And so we need to observe how people are using the different. So you say that. In the Philippines, it's like that. If I'm correct. Say come here is like that. Okay. It's not, this one is more of the American way. Please come here. But the Philippines, it's higher, like that. And so I think the Koreans also do the same thing. It's like that. But you'll find others who will do like that. And you will have those who do like that. That is also a different meaning.
Another thing that was also like, I wonder why the people do this here in the Philippines, when they say, I mean, for me means no. But for the Philippine fellows, it means yes. So I was confused first time, like, no. So it's like misunderstanding right away.
Thank you so much. Let's go back to Zimbabwe. Something that has happened to you here at IAS, nonverbal communication, that either led you in trouble or almost got you in trouble.
Well, I think it's just like an expression of misunderstanding, but not really trouble. In the first of all, maybe in the context of verbal communication, it has been surprising to me to be in situations during my stay here at IAS, but mostly maybe when I'm in Silang, in the market and everything like that, and people ask, they're very friendly. They really want to know where people are coming from. Are you an American? No. I'm from Africa. Are you Nigerian? No. Are you Kenyan? No. Then they are stranded. They don't know what else. So where are you coming from? If you are not from, so Zimbabwe, they are hearing for the first time. And then they pause for a moment and then say, how old are you? This kind of thing. It's not very common where I come from. And then you tell them, and then say, are you married? Say, wow. Where are we going with this conversation? Yeah, this kind of thing and so on. Yes, I'm married, ma'am. So you think that's the last? Sir, is she around? So, oh, okay. Yes, she is. Sir, is she a Filipina? So I think like those questions are quite, very interesting. But some friends, Filipino friends told us, no, it's very common to ask how old people are and everything like that, and said, wow. But on campus, I remember one time a young girl running up to me and then to greet. And then she extended a hand. I extended my hand in the normal greeting way. And so my hand comes at the what is the normal greeting trajectory to me. But she's lifting my hand in a new direction. Yes. And I'm resisting. So come on, what's going on with this girl? You know? But she managed to struggle until it's kind of like touched. You know? And then she darted off. I said, what was that all about? And then I was later on told that in the Philippines, this is an expression of respect by younger people to, I said, wow, okay, I've learned something today.
Thank you so much. I think Miguel wants to add something else.
Yeah, I do remember something when I just arrived. In Mexico, we never remove our shoes. So one of the first days when I just arrived here, it was raining. The people were just cutting the grass. So I went to visit someone, and I entered with my shoes, and I was, and the family was like, and it was quite a difficult situation. Later on, someone explained to me, first here when you remove your shoes and enter. You don't do that in Mexico because it is a sign of it's not respectful. You always keep your shoes with you wherever you go and whenever you enter. So this was something that happened.
Thank you so much. One thing that you will discover here in the Philippines, and we're speaking also to those who are watching us, we remove shoes when we enter the houses. When I went to Myanmar, I found something different. We removed the shoes when we entered the church. And so I found myself preaching without my shoes on. It was the most uncomfortable thing that I've ever had in a church service. And so when we are in a situation like this, we don't say, okay, come on, I don't have to remove my shoes. This is like nonsense. No, we are in their culture. We have to remove the shoes. That day on the pulpit, I was ready to keep my shoes on. But when I saw that all the church elders or the deacons and everybody had to remove their shoes, I just had to remove my shoes. I slipped a little bit because the socks were slippery on the wooden floor, but within 10 minutes I was fine. And so we cannot push our culture on people. Talking about the questions that Watson has shared with us, when you find yourself in a situation like this, it may be other questions other than the ones he has shared with us here. If you're in another country, you need to try to see if it is just one person asking this or if it is recurring. If it is something recurring, that means it's a cultural practice. In fact, at first I used to hide my age and everything, but I discovered later on that it is just like the small talk that people say, how's your chicken, how's your dog? They won't even remember it anyways. Tell them your age. After 5 minutes, you ask them, how old am I? They will not remember because it was part of the small talk. Don't worry about your age. It is okay to tell them. They will not remember it. People have asked me, where are you from? Nigeria. And same thing. I have had this several times. And after 10 minutes of talk, where are you from again? So it's a small talk that will not offend you. Just go with the flow. One thing that you will remember though in Korea, and this is written, and my Korean friends may correct me if I'm wrong. In Korea and in Japan, when people ask you your age, and especially in South Korea, they will ask you, the first thing they will ask you will be the age. It's because they want to identify immediately if you are older or younger than they are. Because if you're older, they have different levels of greetings to address you. And so it's a good thing for you to mention your age immediately. Because if you're older, then you will receive the respect that is due to you. But for those who come from the Eastern cultures, when you are in the West, please do not ask if you're talking to an American, European, and I think some Latin American countries, do not ask the age. Because that is considered private matter. Don't ask how much is your salary. That is a private matter. Are you married? That should come after you know each other very well, because those are considered personal matters. Anybody has anything else to add before we end this conversation?
Yeah, actually, I would like to add one thing. That was like the first experience, shocking experience for me. I started here living at house alone without my wife because they arrived later, and my roommate was Sri from Myanmar, and I learned a lot of things with him and how to eat chili just alone without anything. Yeah, but that's not a big thing. What I learned also is when his friends just used to come in the room, in the house, without any knock-knock, without any hello, they just come, see, do whatever they want to do. Like I'm a ghost there, so they don't notice me at all. Yeah, and they like sleep there, and they go and they come, and they say bye-bye, they don't say hello, nothing. And for me, like, wow, that's rude. Yeah. But what I discovered later, it's okay for Myanmar people to come and without any greetings. So that's just a cultural thing. So after I realized that, okay, you guys, you're ready, that's your culture.
Let's put our hands together for our participants. I think we have learned a lot today about nonverbal communication. Before we jump into a direct conclusion, when somebody does something or says something or acts some specific way, we need to hold our peace and try. We can even Google that to try to understand if it is a cultural matter. Because if it is, then this person is not doing this to offend us. They are just acting the only way they know how to act. And so we should not be offended. We should actually take a step and try to talk to that person. And he say, listen, whenever you do this, it really bothers me because in my culture, this is what it means. How do you think we can harmonize this so that we can live peacefully together? Thank you so much for attending our session on nonverbal communication, and we want to invite you for all the other sessions that we'll have in the future. God bless you.